Oh, great Goblin King, I oh so wish, for this cold that I have to be taken away. Just take it away, Goblin King, please. I wish it. Nothing? Really? What a jerk. The Labyrinth, released in 1986, and is directed by Jim Henson, who's the greatest puppeteer mastermind of all time. He's behind everything via, like, Muppets and puppetry and things. He's a cool dude. And of course, this movie is starring the late, great David Bowie and a very young Jennifer Connelly. And I hope all of you can realize right now that I am suffering from a terrible cold, that I actually just came back from the doctor, and I don't have the flu, and it's nothing serious, but it's a really bad upper respiratory infection. So, yeah. But I decided to move on because I needed one of these for the rest of the week, and I'm sticking to my release schedule for you guys, because you guys are awesome, and I thought I'd just drink it out of my Game of Thrones coffee mug here, because I drink and I know things. The Labyrinth is about a young little girl learning how to grow up and on a quest to save her baby brother, who was captured by the Goblin King and is holding him hostage at the middle of a labyrinth. And it's also about one man who is very much in love with his moose knuckle. For the love of God, that thing is out of control. I don't know if you can tell, but this is not going to be a very long review, and it's not going to be because I forgot to review it like a couple of reviews ago with A Marriage Story. That movie was just so good that, hey, I forgot to talk about the movie itself because it made me feel, it felt so realistic. This one, no. This one definitely feels like a movie, but I don't know how long I can keep talking, but I definitely had a good time with this. I remember first watching this movie in high school. I didn't grow up with this thing, and I've only seen it once before. All of my friends in high school, they grew up with it. They loved this thing to death. So one day they called me over to their house and we popped this in, and I just remember watching it going, what the fuck am I seeing? You'll also notice that when I'm sick and coming off of NyQuil, that my sensor in my mouth doesn't exist anymore, so you'll hear a lot more fucks and cocks and bullshits and things like that. Gosh, if there was ever a movie to mention the word cock, it's definitely this one. But I remember not liking it when I was in high school, and now visiting it almost half of my life later, and I gotta say I have a lot more appreciation for it, and I enjoyed it more this time around. I really wish I was high watching it, though, because this story starts off very, very quickly. Almost to the point of, I'm wondering, like, whoa, did I miss something? Was this connected to another movie that Jim Henson directed a while ago? At the beginning of the movie, Jennifer Connelly is rehearsing a play called The Labyrinth. Is that, like, an actual thing? I teach theater. I've never heard of the play called The Labyrinth before. So I'm asking all of these questions up front, and not in a good way, you know, like how a movie intrigues you and sucks you into the culture and the society that it's creating. Here I'm just going, whoa, wait a minute. I feel like I am missing so much that was, I think, explained to me, but it couldn't have because this movie is 2 minutes old, and already I'm lost. Apparently Jennifer Connelly has the power to summon the Goblin King. It's never explained, but she just has that power. And the goblin puppetry comes out of nowhere, too. I don't know if I missed it, or if maybe there was a nice little intro of it, but out of nowhere, she starts wishing that her whiny little brother gets taken away by the Goblin King. Whoever that is, I don't know. We're about to find out. But out of nowhere, there's just a bunch of goblins sitting there on screen, and they're like, oh, she's gonna say it, she's gonna say it, you gotta say it exactly. Definitely shouldn't be doing that voice in this condition. I know if I was smart, this would be tea, but unfortunately I've left all my medicated tea at my place of employment. I don't have any in the house, so this is just straight coffee. Because if there's one thing you need to be when you're sick, it's nice and caffeinated and awake, not resting. God. But then out of nowhere comes the great Goblin King to grant her wish, played by the amazingly talented and, I gotta say, downright fucking sexy David Bowie. He has to be the sexiest person to have ever walked this earth. Male, female, however you identify yourself, this person, David Bowie, was the sexiest out of all of us. That androgyny, man. Androgyny is sexy as fuck. See, I could have said sexy as hell, but me being sick, I don't give a fuck. He was sexy as fuck. And because Jennifer Connelly wished her brother away, apparently that sets in motion a long-term contract, and she has like 13 hours to find her brother at the middle of this labyrinth. And I don't know, it's never really explained. Not a lot of things are explained in this movie, but I wonder why he puts her through this, and I feel like he has a major crush on Jennifer Connelly's character. I mean, David Bowie's character in here, I don't know, he's a Goblin king, so he's probably hundreds of years old. I would assume that that Jennifer Connelly's character's like 13, 16, which is illegal. I was getting those creepy... For you guys, I was definitely getting those creeper vibes. Do the creep! And do the creep! You know, just less creepy and a lot more sexy. I was able to find the meaning behind this film a lot more than when I first saw it in high school. The message behind this. This is about a young woman growing up, learning to mature, learning to be an adult, and to let go and leave behind her childish self, which is something that a lot of us struggle when we come to that age of 16, 17. We're coming to the end of high school and we're figuring out, okay, do we want to go off to college, or do we want to go off somewhere and become an apprentice or get a job? We're figuring things out, and I actually love seeing that journey of Jennifer Connelly here. I didn't look up to see if this was her film debut, but my god, Jennifer Connelly, she went on to have some fantastic roles and a fantastic career, and I'm pretty sure it started with this film. If not, it's definitely one of her earliest, so it's definitely a nice thing to have on a resume, being that young. And David Bowie, of course, like I said, he was the sexiest human on this planet, but he's also really super cool in this movie. Like, villain-wise, out of the entire spectrum of film, he's probably the nicest, coolest villain ever. Like, he wants Jennifer Connelly to fail, but yet keeps kind of helping her along the way, which is really nice of him for being a villain. And whenever he's on screen, whether it's with Jennifer Connelly or whether it's with all of these puppets, he's commanding. He commands your attention. He commands the space. He is, whenever he walks into the room, the coolest, down-to-earth dude ever. Even with his mop hair and his balls that he keeps jingling around. Not his actual balls, they're just like crystal balls. I mean, they're probably his balls. He probably has a lot more than I do. Some of the imagery here, though, is kind of frightening. I don't know if I would recommend this for people of younger ages, even though it is Jim Henson, and a lot of Jim Henson's work is, it's all puppets, so a lot of parents out there think, hey, it's puppets, so this is probably good for a nice little babysitter for my children while I'm out and about for a couple of hours. I don't know if I would put this one on. Unless you really want to introduce your child to the world of drugs, I would not recommend it. Like I said, I wish I was high watching this movie. I've never been high, I've never tried it before, but gosh, I was giving it some serious thought when I was watching this. I was like, you know what? I really need to go out, get something, come back, and just mellow out and watch this. These weird muskrat puppets that keep throwing their heads around in the forest, in front of a terrible, god-awful green screen. I know it's 1986, but my god, it's fucking terrible. That whole sequence, that song, I don't even know what the song was, but wow. I kept pinching myself, thinking, are you getting sick? Are you sick? Because what's happening on screen, I can't comprehend anything. Again, a little terrifying, so maybe I don't want to be high watching that. The last thing I want to be is a mellow but freaked out person. Well, high. I don't know what happens when you get high. Don't you like start freaking out? You're like, well, man, I feel part of the grass and the earth. Right? My head feels detached from my body. Kind of like how I felt when I took all this NyQuil and I'm coming down off of it. I mean, if that's the same thing, maybe I should have just popped in some NyQuil and watched this movie. Shit. I definitely had a good time. The songs that David Bowie sings, I'd say about half of them I remember. The Dance Magic Dance, the one where he's bouncing around with the baby and all of the goblins in his little goblin kingdom. That's the one that I love the most. Again, he's just commanding whenever he's on screen. And I almost forgot to talk about the puppetry for Jim Henson. I mean, Jim Henson, he's the mastermind behind almost everything puppetry that you saw back in the 80s, early 90s. He was the man, and whatever he touched puppet-wise just turned to gold. I mean, technically this film didn't do well in the box office at all, but it's definitely a cult classic. But he's behind the Muppets. He's behind the 1990s versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love his work. I am struggling to figure out how David Bowie became the Goblin King of all of these little miniature goblins that are very, crude and disgusting looking. And here is the Goblin King, who is this just, perfect, sexy-ass being of a person. I guess that makes sense. How he became the Goblin King, in this universe, in this world, I don't know, as I spill my coffee. Whatever. I think I'm gonna call it quits here. If you haven't watched this movie in a long time, I think it's worth checking out. I don't think it holds up as well as a lot of people think it does. That green screen sequence with the muskrats in the forest, I'm telling you, god-awful. I keep spilling my coffee. It's god-awful. Don't do it. I drink and I know things. But if you do want that nice sense of nostalgia by watching a film, definitely pop this one in. I think you'll get a lot of it. I'm going to give The Labyrinth 3.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I am above average.
Alright guys, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next. And the next one comes, well, as a recommendation from myself, because there's this little event coming up called the Academy Awards, where this Academy of films and actors and directors and all type of people that are in the film business get together to honor each other by giving each other gold statues. And there's this movie that was nominated for 11 Academy Awards that everyone leading up to the nominations was like, yes, it deserves to be nominated. Please nominate this movie. And then when it was nominated for 11, having the most nominations out of all the films, everyone was like, whoa, wait. Okay, it was good. Wasn't that good, though. I'm reviewing Joker. I did touch on my thoughts and feelings about Joker and my superhero ranking for 2019, so if you want a little preview of what next time's gonna be like, I encourage you to check that one out. But I'll talk about why I think this film deserves to... Well, it definitely deserves to win a lot of the Oscars that it was nominated for. Definitely Best Original Score and Best Lead Actor Performance in Joaquin Phoenix. He was fantastic. And you know what? I think it's the film that deserves Best Picture. But we'll talk about that later. I drink and I know things. So thank you very much, Rusted Beetle, for the recommendation. You've sent me so many recommendations, and I will get to a lot of them probably this summer. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, please leave a comment below this video. Go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there. If I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout out here on the channel. I'm kind of piling all of them together to do kind of like a recommendation summer, just because I have so many and a lot of them are just falling on the back burner. So I was like, from May to August, I'll just do 100% everyone's recommendations. So keep sending them in and we'll get to them, I promise. So guys, have you seen The Labyrinth? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And if you like what you saw here, if you like my take on movies, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out with growing this community. At the time of this recording, we have passed 900 subscribers. We are below 100 subscribers more to hit 1,000, which is my goal for this year. It was my stretch goal for last year. We hit our main goal, but I just want to hit that 1,000. It gets this channel closer to being monetized. Maybe I can start doing this full time, or at least a lot more. Maybe get a little bit more film reviews out there per week. So if you have friends, if you have family members that love hearing people talk about movies, gloat on movies, bash on movies, send them over here. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell so you know the next time I'm uploading my next review, so you know the next time to come on over and watch. And I will reward everyone. Once we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, I will reward everyone by recording myself watching the movie Arachnophobia, which is a film that scares the crap out of me. And I know for a fact, because I was on a lot of NyQuil nightmares over this past weekend. And you know what nightmare I had? What I remember of watching Arachnophobia as a child. I am not kidding. I woke up in a cold sweat because I was reliving what I remember of that movie in my brain when I was drugged up on NyQuil. This is going to be a lot of fun for you. It's not going to be fun for me. But subscribe. Get friends to subscribe. And when we hit 1,000, you're just going to have a hell of a time. And I'm going to get super drunk because that's the only way I can get through that movie. Or a lot of NyQuil. Who knows? I drink and I know things. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Joker. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.